This is Jelly Roll, and this is Jelly Roll with his wife, Bunny. Yep, there's a story there. In fact, it's a really good story, but we'll get there. Jelly Roll comes from rock and rap, but is 100% dedicated to country music and has a big hit song on the radio right now called Son of a Sinner.
Just a long-haired son of a sinner.
He's also been living a nightmare, although you'd never know it if you only read some of his tweets, the ones that don't look like this. It's Billy Dukes, and we were lucky enough to catch up with Jelly Roll, real name Jason DeFord, prior to the CMA Awards in Nashville.
What posters did you have on your wall as a kid growing up?
Oh goodness, dude! I was the kid that really had Eminem posters and Nirvana posters. I had a Metallica poster. I had a Misfits Blacklight poster. You remember the Blacklight posters? I had a black. I'm showing my age now. Ain't I? Well, I had a Blacklight poster. I had a lava lamp. I was that guy. I had a pair of Jinkos.
Tap subscribe if you're looking for truly unique country music news and analysis, and then let us know about a country artist that is flying under the radar that we just need to know about. We'll be sure to check him or her out very soon. Jelly Roll more or less lives his life out in the open. He's brutally honest about his time in prison and the crimes that got him there, and he'll also tell you about how having a daughter was enough for him to get his act together to try to give her a better life. Still, he hasn't forgotten his roots. In November 2022, he gave $250,000 to help finance a recording studio inside Davidson County Juvenile Detention Center. He essentially wants to bring music to incarcerated kids with hopes that it's a path out of a bad life. We spotlight his Twitter page because he's truly an interesting follow. There are great moments of inspiration, like this retweet where a man shared that his music helped him beat cancer twice. But there are also horrific reminders of the life he lived. I woke up this morning to a call that a kid I've called my nephew for most of his life was shot and killed in South Nashville last night. My heart is hurt, my spirit is low, my mind is scattered. That was on October 23rd. A few days later, he followed it up with this gut punch. I got the call that my nephew was killed the same day I headlined Red Rocks. Still put on a show. Seen my nephew in a casket the same day I played Rome River Jam and still rocked it. Took my wife to say her final goodbyes to her mother and still rocked Estero, Florida last night. Later he'd write, "Man, I'm not asking for a pat on the back, but I show up." I think that's worth a thumbs up, isn't it?
How do you you do shows right after that, and how do you? What's the secret to bouncing back like that?
It's really hard, but it's also a release of emotion and energy. So it's almost therapeutic, especially because the music's so driven in that way anyways. And, just the wife sat me down and said, "I want you here with me, but if you can, I need you to, that's important. My mother would want you to go do that." Because we're also in a place now where we're not, we're talking about 8, 10, 12,000 people waiting for you, man. They babysitters and hotels, and I know they understand, but, I never want to leave them hanging, man. I never want to let them down, And my wife encouraged me to go, and that's just who she is as a human.
An unexpected country star is a big fan of Jelly Rolls, and it's a friendship that you would have never seen coming. But first, I promised a little bit more about his wife, Bunny. Jelly Roll and Bunny aren't your typical neighborhood couple, but they recognize that and have some fun with it. She hosts a podcast called the Dumb Blonde Podcast, and together they're really cute on social media. In June of 2022, he shared this photo with a caption that begins, quote, "A hooker and a convict held hands on one dark night in the desert and made a decision to change our lives together and go all in on our dreams." Both know addiction very well, and immediately they bonded in Las Vegas several years ago. For his part, Jelly says he loves his wife's dorky sense of humor.
She wasn't even there for me. She didn't know who I was. She was just, one of them local Vegas kind of things. And we hit it off, man. It was just kind of, she said she fell in love with the saddest eyes in the room. And, I felt her soul. When I hugged her, I could just feel the genuineness off of her. I could tell it wasn't an act. And she's like me. She's the opposite of what you would expect when you see her. Like, if you just look at her Instagram, you'd be like, oh, okay. She's obviously gorgeous. She is goofy. She is so silly, dude. That girl is absolutely, she woke me up this morning. I'm not lying. This is how I woke up. Hello? Hello? I thought it was the cat, and I looked around as my wife going, hello? And I'm like, good morning. You know what I'm saying?
They truly seem to be kindred spirits. I promised a shocking ally for Jelly Roll, and actually I'm going to give you two. The first is the late Leslie Jordan, who filmed this video with the country singer before he died.
That's mine.
How y'all doing?
Now that's mine too. Well, shit, how y'all doing?
The other is Craig Morgan, who did not grow up in and out of jail and on paper has nothing in common with him. However, Jelly Roll once shared a story about how Almost Home changed his life. So they met and performed it at the Grand Ole Opry. Quote, "I love the guy," Craig says. "In the same way that I'm always there for my family, I'm always there for Jelly Roll." I'm Billy Dukes with Taste of Country. Thanks for watching, and thanks for subscribing.